Good day, everyone. I'm Rob Janssens from ecosystem.Ai. I will be leading through an exciting talk about AI in the MVNO space today. We host these meetups every week. They are a public forum and we do record them, and they are edited and uploaded to our YouTube channel. I've got a couple of my colleagues from Ecosystem with me today, although they may be coming in and out as they've got a big launch this evening and fantastic dinner with some of our potential clients and customers that they're attending on my behalf. Some of you might have seen on LinkedIn and in various channels, did have Nicola hosting this event. Unfortunately, Nicola's been unwell, so I've stepped in. Nicola is online, but I'm stepping in and I'm going to be running the session today. I've got a couple of slides. I'm probably going to race through them very quickly. As I tend to get excited, I talk faster. I'm going to try and keep myself slowly, and I'll, please stop me at any time to ask questions if there's anything that's unclear. Essentially, I'm going to be talking about MVNOs and network operators in the telco space and how use cases that we've implemented in those environments have created a fantastic uplift for those spaces. All right, before we get going, any questions or anything that anybody wants to ask before I start sharing my screen? I might not be able to see your hands up or anything like that, but I do have Eric online that'll jump in and just stop me. But again, just start asking a question and I'll stop and let that happen. As the title suggests, building smarter MVNOs with AI. That's very, very critical in what ecosystem.ai does. MVNOs, for those that you don't know, mobile virtual network operators, or telcos as we like to call them. And we generally, as ecosystem, we do separate our telcos or network operators from mobile virtual network operators, because on our side of the fence, they are pretty much the same. We're on the side of the customer, where our technology helps MVNOs or MNOs connect with their customer, engage with their customers more intelligently. And as a mobile virtual network operator, you don't need to own the network stuff, and you don't need to invest in that heavy operator side of the business. You invest in the customer space, and that's where we play. So I'm just going to take you through two use cases where I'm going to show you the static telco models and how you use AI and real-time behavioral AI, how you can engage with your customer better, and which will lead to better business for you. Okay, so what are the pressure points that customers, the MVNOs, are facing today? You could probably say this about a lot of businesses, but in this instance, MVNOs, there are so many of them. You can spin up an MVNO in a matter of hours or days these times. And what really going to separate you from your crowded market, how you engage the customer. As it says there, the margins under pressure, and customers expect more in this day and age. Customer that everything is ChatGPT. Tell me the answer now. I want it now, and I want you to give me an essay on it. And I think customers are now wanting that from all of their service providers. And so the thing that we're saying here is the traditional static products are just not cutting it anymore. What we used to work was a fixed set of bundles. This is what the operator, whether a virtual network operator or a network operator, I think these are the data bundles, and this is the amount of money, because we did a survey a couple of months ago, and we think that people want to pay this amount of money for this amount of data or telco product. And that just doesn't work anymore. Customers want more. They want personalization. They've been told that they can get it, so why aren't you providing it? And what's also happening is that if you've got reactive customer service, phone into a call center and please enter your customer number. Rob, how's it? How are you? What's your problem? You should already know their problem, because you've got all of their data. You know exactly where they are. And that's where AI can come in and make a difference. And you also, traditionally, you've got batch-driven campaigns. A marketing person and a business person sit down and they say, Monday morning, right, by the end of the month, we need to send out a campaign to sell more data bundles to customers in urban environments. Where did they get that from? Oh no, that idea was from a survey we did 3 months ago. That's old. Those people have moved on. And so what we're saying today is, with AI, with machine learning, with a different look at how you engage with your customers, you can make better business decisions. In the old way, with the static mobile virtual network operator, you had a fixed product catalog. This is the data bundle. This is the amount that you want to pay. And maybe you've got 20 or 30 of those, depending on how sophisticated you are. What we're saying is that you can have dynamic models, context-aware offers. Where is that person physically? Is there network capacity in that area? And you could offer them much better data deals or airtime deals based on their context, where they are and what is actually happening. Is there an event? Is there a cultural event happening in that area that you need to either increase traffic on or decrease traffic on? And you can then make those decisions in the moment and make it super, super relevant for your customers. Again, what I've said about scheduled campaigns against real-time engagement. If you send a campaign and message out to somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't suppose you're going to get very many responses. But if you engage when they are checking out something on your environment, that's the time that they've mentally made a decision to engage with you. Why don't you then make sure that that engagement is something that can benefit both of you? As I've said about customer service, you want to make sure that you predict why is this customer phoning me? What is his problem? What is the most likely scenario that this customer is phoning me? And being able to make decisions intelligently at all times through that customer journey. When you want to onboard them, whether you want to engage with them more and sell them more, or whether you want to make sure that they don't leave you, you want to make sure anytime that they engage with you, you've got an offer ready to go, or intervention ready to go. And you'll see how this happens with the 2 use cases that I'm going to talk to you a bit later. So where AI creates value for MVNOs, at the customer engagement stage, delivering the right message, offer, or intention at the right moments, you want to make sure that when that customer engages with you, have you got something ready to go that's going to get them to say yes? My go-to example in this case is always static models were trained maybe last night or a couple of days before, and that model might go, Rob likes buying 1 gig bundles with his loyalty points every second or third day. So when I log in on the day, on a Wednesday, that offer should be the one that's recommended most to me. However, today, that day that I'm logging on, for some other reason, I've already spent my loyalty points on something else. Maybe I've gifted it to somebody else, but I don't have the loyalty points available that I normally have, which then triggers that recommendation. I don't have. Now, traditionally, I would have still been given that same offer using, being able to pay for it using my loyalty points. But now that I don't have it anymore, should the system give me that same offer? And what we're saying is with machine learning and AI, you should actually be able to score against Rob, get that offer. Yes, it might still rank that offer as high because it's something that I'm used to buying. However, it can check my context. My context has now changed. I don't have those loyalty points anymore. Loyalty points have changed. I've got less. So maybe there's an offer in my list of offers that I qualify for or predicted that I'll purchase. Maybe there's one that fits in with my amount of loyalty points, and rather make that one the one that gets surfaced. And therefore, you're getting the right offer at the right time to the right person. And that creates less friction. So therefore, I don't have to go now recharge or do any of those other things. I can go in and just go click, yes, thank you very much. And off I go. And that amount of knowing me and understanding me is what will make me come back to that provider each time. I think the stats at the moment is that there are 2.3 SIM cards for every person that has a phone at the moment. So that means every time you want to engage as an MVNO with your customer, you've got to fight with 1.3 other telcos to get their customer to choose you. And why would they choose you over and above those other 1.3? Are you making it easy for them? Are you giving them interesting offers that'll pique their interest and make them want to come back? And that's where AI can help move the needle. All right, before we get into those use cases, I wanted to bring the behavioral side of AI into what we're going to be talking about. Kind of gives you the context of why these use cases work and how you can unlock value using behavioral AI. So the magic here isn't just about crunching historical traditional data. It's driven by what we call interaction science. Most telcos rely on basic demographic profiling, assuming when a customer wants traditional Amazon, people like you bought this, therefore. But how do they know? How do they know what I'm like? Just because I'm a white male in my 50s, does everybody that looks like me buy the same things? I don't think so. You don't know my financial situation. You don't know anything about me except very, very high level, basic demographic traits, which are, in my opinion, old, tired, and don't give you the engagement that modern people of today are looking for. So that's why where we take behavioral AI, it looks at how people actually behave. It analyzes their interaction patterns, decision tendencies, and engagement rhythms. For example, the engine looks at a user's spend personality or their loss aversion, or are they novelty seeking, and can, based on those traits, suggest different messages, different offers. You might be somebody that likes getting massive value. You might want to get, even though you might never use a gig of data in a day, it might feel like value creation for you. If you buy a bit more, spend a bit more money, getting that value creation makes you feel good. There are personalities that we can see that is something that they value. And so rather send them a message like that, you're going to get certain value out of this and essentially upsell them. So it's not really about the customer's demographics, it's about understanding why customers act, not just what they do. So instead of just guessing about a customer's new bundle, we can actually figure out exactly what they want and give them that offer right then and there. So that's why there's an advantage for MVNOs, is understanding customers, get more accurate, and really engage with them, ensure that the touch points are highly relevant and impactful. If you can get to understand that the customer behind the data, you can really make a difference to your customer and therefore make a difference to the business.
Rob, do you want to take questions as we go along?
Yeah, sure.
So there's a question in the chat from Nicola, who says, MVNOs are facing a lot more pressure to differentiate in a way other than by competing on price. Do you think MVNOs have realized this and are taking steps to differentiate in other ways? If yes, how?
Sorry, I don't think MVNOs have realized this. I think MVNOs that I've spoken to recently are all about setting up the technology and leaning on an existing customer base. There's an MVNO that I was told about recently that was set up by a pension fund. So they believe that they've got 500,000 pensioners or people that contribute to a pension, and those are the people that they're going to go after. That's fantastic. Let's say you get 20-30% of those on your MVNO. The problem that you have is that those customers will soon tire of your basic offers because you're just like anybody else. So what they need to do is they need to understand what makes them different. Why did these customers come to me in the first place, and what value can I add to them going forward? And I think the fact that we know something a bit more about those customers, we know that they're pensioners or they contribute to a pension plan, we can then start giving them value-added services over and above that. It's not just saying, this is a data bundle that you need. The data bundle, if you buy these data bundles, we can give you some more value on your other purchases that you're busy making in the context of where they are working. Nicola, does that answer your question? I hope it does.
Thanks.
Cool. I would like to move on. Any other questions, Eric, in the chat?
No, that was it.
All right, I'm going to move on to the recharge recommender. So there's the first use case, and I'm going to talk about the balance inquiry as well. So the recharge recommender is one of the highest frequency interactions that telcos and MVNOs have with its customers. It happens constantly across every segment, and yet, these MVNOs treat it as a transaction necessity. I may need to get through moments, to engage with your customer. That's really leaving some money on the table, I believe. So let me take you through what AI can do. As it says here, we can analyze their profile, their context, and service the right offer. It doesn't have to be that offer. It always comes in. It's the right offer to the right person based on why are they recharged? What is the reason why they're busy doing it? So this next slide is just giving you a one-pager of what I'm going to talk about later. And if you feel like, I can let you guys have a PDF of this document that encapsulates all of what I'm going to tell you about in the next slide. So how the recharge recommender works. It's pretty straightforward. I've only included the 4 inputs that, for ease of reference, we can add as many as we feel that are going to create the uplift. But I just want to talk about the 4 for the moment. You've got your purchase history, your typical spending pattern. So your purchase history, how many times you bought, when have you bought? Spending patterns, what is relevant to why you spent that money at that time? What is your preferred payment method? Maybe we've got a spend personality for you. Based on all of those items, we come up with a profile for you. Then when you log onto the app that you're recharging or the USSD that you're recharging, we will pick up your context. Are you at home? Are you traveling? We will detect that in real time and make a determination of what's happening to you, why you're doing this. We can then also pick up time sensitivity, and we can then go and based on those ideas, we can behavioral prediction engine to select which offers are most likely that you're most likely to take up, and we can present them to you. As that flow says in the USSD's example, we can, as you're busy interacting, we are busy in the background figuring out the best offer for you and what you're most likely to take up. And essentially what's happening there is because we can give you the right offer at the right time, your top-up averages are greater than generic models because essentially we can make sure, A, that when you're on the system, you actually fulfill a transaction. So that's number one. And B, making sure that it's the right offer for you so it makes you feel like you want to come back and you want to do it again, rather than trying to get as much money out of you as possible, rather give you the right offer that's going to give you the best chance of coming back. And we don't want to overwhelm you with too many choices. So in other words, you've decided, I need to binge watch the latest Netflix show. I don't have enough data for that. Let me recharge. So you log on, you go and recharge, and you go, oh, that's fantastic. I've got a bit of loyalty points. They can see that it's now near the weekend. I normally binge Netflix on the weekend. So then maybe they give me an offer that's specifically for Netflix and at a much better rate. And now I'm going, perfect, thank you very much. And off you go. And basically what you're really doing is you're really cementing that customer's engagement with you. And so the next weekend, he's not even thinking about going to a competing telco because he knows that he's going to get what he wants from you each time. Right, so that's the recharge recommender. The balance inquiry. With the balance inquiry, why is the customer checking their balance? Are they doing it to feel good about how much airtime they've got left or data they've got left? No, they generally want to do it because they need to do something, they need to make a transaction, they need to engage with the next environment. The customers check their balance constantly. It's one of the most common transactions that happen in a telco, you wouldn't believe, but people just like checking their balances. At the moment, a lot of the times MVNOs, again, like I said earlier, they're leaving that engagement session leaving it for other people to make money out of it. It's purely functional. So what we need to do is when they log in and they check their balance, why are they doing it? What can we figure out based on their usage that they are wanting to do? And again, as with the recharge recommender, their brains have been set to engage with you. They've logged on, they've entered their details. Cognitively, they are ready to engage. So let's engage with them. Let's give them something that keeps you in your memory and makes them come back. Again, a PDF, just a quick screenshot of what I'm going to be telling you about now. But how it works, the customer checks their balance. We figure out, based on where they are, what options to sell them. We're not going to just list a bunch of generic upsells. We're going to say, how much do they normally consume? What have they purchased previously? And why are they purchasing at the moment? And let's try and create the offer that's going to make sure that they, A, accept it, and B, keep coming back. So that's why you can see things like context aware low balance alerts. If their balance is low, maybe we can push them to engage earlier. Maybe there's location-specific packages. They might be in an urban area, rural area. Maybe it makes sense for them to get a different package based on where they are. So this flow allows for you to generate more revenue by reducing churn and by presenting relevant offers the exact moment customers are thinking about their balance. And that, like I say, those conversion rates increase significantly compared to generic marketing campaigns. And we've got the dashboards to back this up. Just on the technical side, the system uses real-time data processing. So what that means is as you're logging in, you're punching in either into the USSD or into your app, you're logging in, it's in the background picking up where you are, your historical purchase options, and it's basically in those milliseconds that you are doing that, it's scoring against your model and bringing back a relevant offer that you can use. So what does this all mean? It means that we're moving from static to adaptive. We are changing from old style ways of doing business and engaging with customers. From an acquisition point of view, Instead of just blasting out and buying old data sets of customers, we can start honing in on those customers and sending out messages based on a propensity for them to take up, so forth. And once you've maybe now got a couple of people coming in to your MVNO, we want to make sure they're on board, and we want to make sure there's a personalized plan. A plan for me might be different to a plan to the next guy. AI can help you navigate that by making sure that the right offer and the right plan is generated for each person. During engagement, with the balance inquiry and the recharge recommender, as I've discussed earlier, you can make sure that the people want to come back and they want to engage with you over and over again, rather than just going back to those old type of messages. You're actually got an engaged client, a client that actually wants to come back and see what to offer. On the retention side, there is a way that we can help with churn prediction. There are a lot of models that help that, but once you know about somebody that's likely to churn, what are you going to do about it? So before they actually churn, let's do something. Let's give them an intervention, maybe an offer. Sometimes we've seen that just sending people that are about to churn a discount it's not the best way of doing things. It's more about understanding why are they leaving in the first place. Getting that first is a much better way of preventing retention. But you've always got to have offers waiting or messages waiting so that those people, when they are about to churn, you can engage with them. And then win back, if they have unfortunately moved on, you want to win them back. Which one of those people would you target? With what offers do you want to make sure that they do come back to you? Okay, so just, as we sort of going towards the end of this session we're having this afternoon, I want to just kind of reiterate why it's important for MVNOs to act now, because their customers in MVNO space they've got such an opportunity to move. Why should they stick to your operation compared to competitors? And we need to now make sure that those customers have a fantastic experience. You can give them a fantastic experience without spending an inordinate amount of money on marketing. Surely that's your best option. With AI capabilities, you don't require large data science teams. You can access all of those technologies that massive companies like Pinterest and Spotify have. You can now, as an MVNO, access those technologies. Customers who don't feel understood are going to move. I think that's quite evident. Customers who feel understood are going to stay. We've seen it over and over again. Customers will, if they feel valued, they'll stay, even if it costs them a little bit extra. It's been proven over and over again. Make them feel special, customers will stay. And just lastly, the MVNOs have a structural advantage. They can move quicker. They generally have smaller teams. If they use this technology, they can get offers into customers in days instead of months. They don't have massive processes that slow them down. So in my opinion, MVNOs should be using technologies like ecosystem all the time. So just moving this conversation a bit more to ecosystem.Ai, we've developed a technology that allows you to run an experiment in the first couple of days, maybe a week, and you can go into production. I've been conservative there 2 to 4 weeks. That's mainly because it's not our technology that's the issue. It's the MVNO or the telco technology. They've got to get approvals and all those kind of things. In ecosystem case, we've pre-built these use cases, as you've seen there. You just have to bring your customers' data and your offers. You don't have to bring your exact offers, but what are you prepared to sell, and give us those 2 entry points or those 2 data sets, and you can have offers going out to your customers in days. We've got the real-time scoring engine. Like I said, that it plugs into different channels that a customer uses. So you're not stuck on any one platform. You can make sure that whatever data you're getting, you can use and you can engage with the customers. Again, no large data science teams required. We are learning automatically and improving the engagements each time. And last one, quite important item from an ecosystem point of view, you've got a low-code environment and a visual workbench that allows you to get teams going and working and getting out there and engaging with your customers in literally days or weeks, because we've got all of these technologies available for you. So if you're an MVNO or a telco, I highly recommend you going down this path. So I just want to finish off today's session saying that that I believe that AI enables MVNOs to shift from static models to adaptive models that allows them to respond to individual context rather than generic campaigns. The high frequency touchpoints are very valuable, as I've shown you in those recharge and balance inquiries. Those are points where the customer is engaged. Why don't we make sure that they stay engaged and give them something that you want? And the barrier to entry is lower than you think to the MVNOs out there. We've got these pre-built use cases, which means you don't have to build them from scratch. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me this afternoon or today, and I would love to take questions from you now. Anybody else? Any questions? If there aren't any questions, there's no need for us to look at each other. I can give you 23 minutes of your afternoon back. Yeah. Questions, comments?
Thanks, Rob. That was great. And thanks everyone for attending.
Fantastic. Guys, have a good one, and I will see you same time next week. Have a good one. Ciao.